Hello, listeners, and welcome to Nightvale. Hello, you are tuning in to the Glass Cannon playthrough of the new Welcome to Nightvale role-playing game, tabletop role-playing game. It is a celebrated podcast with, I think, 240 episodes. If you've never heard it, they even provide a beginner's guide online where you can kind of jump around to the important episodes. Go and check it out. With me here to create a character for the Welcome to Nightvale role-playing game, I have the single greatest member of the Glass Cannon founding quadrumvirate. I forget how many you guys started with. Anyway, Matthew Capodicasa, everybody.
Hi, thanks, Jared.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming to Nightvale with me, looking around, stopping at the Ralph's for some produce. We are going to create a character for this new role-playing game. It hasn't actually come out yet. It's being published by Renegade Game Studios. They do a lot of stuff I like. It's called Welcome to Nightvale, and the backer kit for this game is going to be launching September 17th. So if you'd like to be updated on this, if you'd like to be part of this, sign up to be notified using the URL in the description for this video, and you can find out what's happening with the Welcome to Nightvale role-playing game and play it yourself. And right now, we are going to create a character for the game. Matthew, how familiar are you with the show?
I am, I would say, casually familiar, which I feel like in the world of Nightvale fandom makes me on the very, very lowest rung of the ladder.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, it's a lot. It's, if you added up all the hours, it might be like more than the amount of Star Wars that exists. 240 episodes. So it's hard to be an expert. I will go ahead and place myself as well in the casual tier. But we're gonna have fun. And
I like the world is fun. I liked what I listened to. It's just there's content you have blind spots for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've definitely done my research, and I've definitely listened to a chunk of the show, of the Nightvale show, to kind of figure out what we're talking about today. So you're going to create a character in the town of Nightvale, a town where strange and unexplained occurrences are commonplace. It is a town of mystery and threat and strangeness. Do you have an idea for your character? Do you have a character concept?
I don't. We were joking. I was gonna go into this and just see what happened. But we were talking right before we went air that maybe I should just make a guy, just like a human, guy. Just like a human guy who's like, installing people's cable or working at the Ralph's. I love
that because I can tell you that I was looking at some of the pre-generated characters, and one is just a scorpion. Just a small scorpion. That's a character you can play, or you'll see
a scorpion-sized scorpion.
Yeah, scorpion-sized scorpion, not a scorpion man, not he's a literal scorpion. That's one of the pre-generated characters. You'll see when our friends join us for the adventure we're going to play through, that they have chosen characters that are not, if you want to play a game where the characters are non-traditional RPG characters, where you can really do an out there concept, this is the game for you, okay? Because in the Nightvale podcast, there are protagonists who are not necessarily human, who might be abstract concepts, to be honest with you. So, but I like the idea that you're going to go, you're maybe a cable installer or a grocery store employee. Okay, great. So, and now that we have that sort of idea, and you can narrow that down as to what our character's occupation is, the first thing we need to do is to record our essence scores. Okay. Essences are like attributes in, say, a fantasy D20 game, and they are strength, speed, smarts, and social. Okay? So you're going to start with 1 in each of them. And then you are going to distribute 9 points among them. You can't have any essence score higher than 8. And these essence scores, the main thing they do is determine how many skill points you have to throw around here in a little bit. In terms of, have we settled on cable installer, grocery store employee, a third thing you didn't say yet? I mean, have we settled somewhere out there?
Let's go with, when in doubt, go with the first instinct. So let's go with cable installer.
I love it. Cable installer. So what are you thinking in terms of strength, speed, smarts, and social?
So among the cable installers I've met, they tend to be, they have to be decently strong, right? You have to climb on things, you have to go get up and you're climbing up in garages, whatever you need to do. So maybe I'll make strength kind of my top stat. So I have 9 to distribute on top of the 1 I have in each one.
That's right.
So if I give myself a add 3 into my strength to get 4, that feels like a pretty good start.
That's decent.
And then speed, I'm going to give myself, let's go with a 2 for speed. Extra 2, so I'll have a 3 total.
Yeah.
And then smarts, these guys aren't unintelligent, the ones I've met. So maybe we'll do, what have I got so far? 5. So I'll do a 3 in smarts.
To get you up to a 4?
Yes, to get me up to 4. Sorry, I'm saying this in the most confusing way possible.
No, not at all. No, that makes sense.
So that's 8, and then I'll give myself an additional 1 in social to get up to a 2. Because with no judgment if you install cable, but among the cable installers I've met, the conversations tend not to be entirely pleasant.
Right. They may be garrulous. They may be loquacious. They may talk a lot, but sometimes it's not exactly. Well, I don't want to stereotype cable installers. This cable installer has a social of 2. Put it that way.
A social of 2, yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we're going to choose our influence, our origin, our role, and our general perk. Okay. So these are kind of like the influence is kind of like a feat. Origin is sort of the same thing, and then your role is kind of like a class. Okay.
Great.
So the influences you have to choose from, you can see that they are adjective descriptors, are athletic, brainy, curious, cynical, fearless, kind, popular, quiet, rebellious, tech head, tragic, and wandering. And you can take 1 for free, but if you take more, you can take more than 1. You can take up to 3, but every one after the first one, you have to also take a hang up. Which are like disadvantages. Okay.
So off the list you just told me there, I think let's definitely go tech head. And let's go curious. I'll do an additional influence and I'll be curious as well.
Okay, great.
So that gives me 1 hang up.
Yeah. So you are tech head, and you should record the advantage you get for tech head, and then we'll get into the hang-ups in a second. So hacking the mainframe, you are talented at handling technology. When you are called upon to fix things, you get it's an arrow up. So the notation they use in this game is an arrow up on technology tests. What that means is if you normally roll a D4 for technology tests, you would instead roll a D6 on technology tests.
Great.
In this game, I love
that kind of game where you change the die based on your bonus.
Yeah, I love that too. In this game, you always roll a D20 and then another die, like a D2, a D4, a D6, etc. So that's make sure you note that you get up a die on any kind of technology skill test to fix things. And then you said you also liked curious. Is that right?
Yeah.
So curious, you get the perk Keen Eye. Your attention to detail helps you uncover answers. When trying to solve a puzzle, you get arrow up on smarts and social skill tests. So that'll be useful as well.
Great.
So record that, and then let's look at the hang-ups. We've got bookworm, dazed, faceless, gluten tolerant, which is a reference to the show somehow, heretical, interloper, jittery, loudmouth, naive, obsessive, show-off, stubborn.
All right. I think I'm looking at the tech head text here, and they list some potential hangups for each influence. And I'm torn between the stubborn on tech head or the obsessive on curious. I feel like I feel like stubborn is a tough thing in a group dynamic. So I'm going to go with obsessive, which is always really great for social situations, but I feel a little bit more easy to roleplay.
Great. So once something catches your attention, you refuse to let up on it. This is obsessive. And spend all your time trying to figure it out. Whenever you make a skill test that doesn't directly relate to your obsession, take down arrow 1. So your skill die would go down a level from like D6 to D4 when you're not able to follow your obsession. I love it. Okay, so that is your influence. And now we're going to go to your origin. And the origins are... by the way, the origins give you a perk and they give you a skill level in a single skill that you choose. So the origins are brought back, which means you were gone for a long time and then you've now come back somehow. Caretaker, community leader, dragon, which I'm going to say we already have a dragon in the game coming up, so let's skip that. Engineer, hobbyist, intern, news hound, outsider, scout, student, and teacher.
Let's go with hobbyist.
Hobbyist, I love that. Okay, and I'm just making sure we don't have any overlap with what the other characters chose.
Oh yeah, happy to modify.
No, it's okay. I just want to make sure there's not too much if there is. One character also has tech head. I think that's fine. But the origin of hobbyist has not been taken. So as far as I know. So let's take a look at hobbyist. Hobbyist is going to give you a perk called Everything is Inspiration. All your experiences help to fuel your art in one way or another. You add an additional story point to the player pool at the beginning of each game session, and once per scene when you fail a skill test. Wow. So story points, like bottle caps, of course, let you re-roll ones or treat a skill test like it's a specialty skill test, which I can explain later. They let you add +5 to a defense in combat, like your toughness if someone's trying to hit you. So they have a couple things you can do with them. So it looks like you just, as a hobbyist, just add a bunch of story points to the story point pool. And you can also choose a skill right now of culture, technology, performance, or persuasion.
So I will go with technology unless our other tech head has that.
I believe. Let me see. I bet you they do.
I bet you they do too.
Yeah. And it's okay because we're not playing Pathfinder, so there can be a little bit of overlap. A little bit of overlap won't be too non-optimal.
But you know what? I can also go with performance because he's a hobbyist.
Right. Let's see. What were you thinking of first? Technology? Yeah, technology. The other character that we're going to see in a little bit, played by Paula, does have technology as their highest skill with a specialty. So you're thinking going what instead? Performance. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
His hobby is that he has a theremin, and he is a theremin player. At a hobbyist level, of course, not professionally or anything.
Okay, great. So I believe you go ahead and each origin presented below offers an essence point, options for an associated skill, and an origin perk for your character. As with other essence score increases, the skill you increase must be in the associated essence. So, what does that mean? That means as a hobbyist, You can either put a point into smarts or social right now. And when you do that, you must pick a skill that is associated with that. Of course, smarts covers culture, and here are your skills you can choose from: culture, technology, performance, or persuasion. Smarts covers culture and technology. Social covers performance and persuasion. So you could boost that social up to 3 and take performance, or you could boost that smarts up and take culture or technology.
All right. Okay. I will boost the smarts because I don't want him to be too social.
Okay.
And I'll take culture as my skill.
Take culture. Maybe he knows every single TV show that exists or something like that.
Yeah. Can I still play the theremin?
100% you can still play the theremin. In fact, go ahead and note in your equipment, theremin.
All right.
And let's go ahead and let's also say, I'm not sure that this is exactly right. Like I said, viewers, listeners, however you're appreciating this, this is a new game to me, but I believe that you go ahead and you get a D2 in that skill. So go ahead and note a D2 in culture.
D2. Great.
Okay. Now we're going to pick your role. Oh wait, did we get your perk? Did we get your perk for your origin as a hobbyist? Yes, we did. All the extra story points. Okay, great. So now we're gonna pick your role.
It's at the beginning, and then every time once per scene when I fail a skill test. That's fun.
Anytime you fail, you get a story point. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so your role is kind of like a class. So it might not fit exactly how you think of your character, but you can still kind of apply it. The roles are farmer, journalist, politician, scientist, and soldier.
Got it. I'm torn. Let me just take a look at scientist. But
okay,
I could also,
great.
It could be scientist could probably fit, or soldier, honestly, could probably fit as well.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I don't think that we have a soldier among the characters that are playing today. I could be wrong, but it looks like we have a scientist, we have a politician, and we may have a scientist and 2 politicians, actually. No, we have a scientist, a farmer, and a politician. So you could, if you wanted to be more of a unique snowflake, you could go soldier or journalist. But if you feel that your character is definitely a scientist, we can have 2 scientists. That's okay.
Let's do soldier. There's no reason a veteran can't go install cable.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. And like I said, soldier is very vague here. Like, you don't have to have literally been a soldier, or you can be, but you don't have to have literally done that. It just means that your character is accustomed to fighting in some way. Your character is a fighter, a soldier.
Maybe I'm just so loyal to the cable company that I work for that I am like a soldier in my dedication.
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. You're a soldier for the cable company. All right. So first of all, you get an equipment benefit, and that's called weapons training. So soldiers are extremely comfortable using traditional guns and can usually find something to use as a weapon around them.
Great.
Then you get a role perk. And the role perks you can choose from or maybe you just automatically get these. One's called Equipment Duty. As a soldier, you have lots of connections. People looking to get your support in politics, or just citizens looking to take care of you. You gain access to Wealth 15 weapons without needing a skill test. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
And then you get, you get both of these. And then you get Rugged Frame. You've been trained and conditioned to handle so much more than the standard everyday citizen. Increase your strength and speed essence by 1 each.
Wow. Well, you know what? I do a lot. It's just a very physical job. Getting down in people's crawl spaces, climbing up on ladders.
Yeah. It makes sense. And then you also get skills from this rugged frame. Gain 1 rank in 2 skills from the following. So, earlier I think we said it ended up being culture, and you just went ahead and got a D2 in it. So a rank means you get D2. And then if you add another rank, D4. And another rank, D6. You get it. So you are about to gain 1 rank in 2 skills from the following list: athletics, conditioning, driving, finesse, might, or targeting. Now, might is usually used for melee or brawling attacks. Targeting is usually used for ranged weapon attacks. Athletics, a common skill in many tabletop role-playing games, I think you get. Driving, that's pretty self-explanatory. Finesse is fine manipulation. There are a few weapons that use it, but it would be, being able to do things with your dexterity and your hand-eye coordination. And conditioning, what is conditioning? I'll look that up, but if you're not going to pick it, then it doesn't really matter. We can look it up later.
Conditioning actually did seem promising to me.
Oh, really? Did you read what it is?
No. Oh, I get extra health. Let me see. Yeah. Physical resilience. You get extra health for each rank of conditioning.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Actually, that's pretty damn cool. I didn't know there was a skill that just gave you health. That's dope.
All right, so I will do conditioning and might.
Conditioning and might. Great. So you get a D2 in might and a D2 in conditioning, but really what's more importantly is your health goes up from the base of 2 to 3.
Great.
All right, so now you need to choose your soldier focus, okay? And you have 2 choices. Blood Space War veteran, a soldier who fought among the mysterious combatants of the Blood Space War, or Strex Corp rebel, a member of Tamika's militia who participated in the revolution at the infamous Strex Corp Company picnic. These are deep references to the show. You Nightvale listeners, sound off in the comments and tell us what they are talking about. But I think I'm kind of hearing one that sounds more cable installer in nature.
I can't wait. I think this is going to be very revealing about how we see cable installers. But I was thinking Blood Space War veteran.
Oh, okay, great. I was thinking you might, Strex Corp, but that makes total sense. Okay, so from being a Blood Space War veteran, you get a first level perk called Gravity Optional. During your time in space, you adapted to low gravity and are now comfortable choosing to no longer be affected by it. The more you practice with no gravity, the better you get. You can overcome gravity's pull when you leap, tripling the result of an athletics skill test to jump. In addition, you can float up to 5 feet in the air for up to 10 minutes.
Great.
This increases by 5 feet in 5 minutes every 5 levels. All right, your guy can float.
So if I don't have the athletics skill, can you roll things untrained?
Yes, when you roll things untrained, you only roll the D20 because you don't have a skill rank in it, but you roll it with what's called a snag. People who are familiar with 5e Dungeons & Dragons know it as disadvantage. You roll 2 D20s and take the lower.
Got it. Cool.
So you, but maybe you will take athletics because you're going to get a chance to now put in skill ranks here in a second.
Great.
Okay. So you can float and triple your jump distance. That's fun.
It is fun. It's super useful if I need to get up to like the box, like the cable box on a telephone pole.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm sure there are good reasons to jump and float if you install cable.
Yeah, and the people that are taking in this little character creation session can see truly how weird this game and setting is. We are creating a cable installer with levitation powers.
Yeah. Who plays the theremin? Very important.
Who plays the theremin? That's an important part of it. Okay, so we have done your roll. I think that covers everything. Your perk, your special equipment, your essence score bonuses, I believe. So now you get a general perk. That's just one that comes to you for free. So let's see here. Here they are. Always alert. Barista experience. Bowling team. Cat training. Charge. Community martial arts. Deep breathing. Desert site. Oh my gosh, they go on forever. There's a long list here.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can find them.
Yeah, they start with always alert if you want to search that in the document. I'm kind of trying to help you pull through these here because there's at least,
all right,
it looks like
I'm going to
30.
go, I think, oh yeah, there are a lot, aren't there?
Yeah.
There's some fun ones.
Here's public television. You do your residential, do you have a smarts of 3 or more?
I believe I do.
You do your residential duty by consuming at least 3.5 hours of public television each day. Once per day, you can act as though you have a specialization in any smart skill. Okay, that's interesting.
That's fun. That sounds good. The other one I was looking at is bowling team.
Yeah, what's bowling team do for you?
You get an up 1 on athletic skill tests. And all participants in a group skill gain up 1 when I lead them. Oh, because I lead the workouts, the practice workout sessions for the bowling team.
I think that's a great one because your character's sort of tending to be the more physical character out of the group that we're putting together here. Yeah. So let's go bowling team for that.
And like he plays a solo instrument. You can't join a theremin orchestra really. So I think he's looking for a social outlet. So he joined the bowling team.
Right.
Thought he could bring some of the conditioning he learned when he was in the Space Marines to the bowling team's physical regimen.
Here's what I like. This feels like a Nightvale character because there's a complicated backstory that is slowly revealed. He was in the Space Blood War. He plays the theremin. He's on the bowling team. It's beautiful. Okay, so now you get to purchase skills. All right. And your skills work thus, okay? However many points you have in an essence, that's how many skill ranks you can put into your skills. For example, what is your current strength?
Sorry, taking notes. My current strength is 5.
Right, so you have 5 skill ranks you can put into strength-based skills. The strength skills, for example, are athletics, brawn, conditioning, intimidation, and might. So, because you see that you are able to do better on athletics, you might decide to put 3 skill ranks into athletics right now, bringing it to a 1 point D2, second point D4, third point D6, right? And then you could put another skill rank into 2 others, or 2 ranks into another one, bringing it up to D4, etc.
Okay, great. So let's do athletics because I do have that bonus. I'm going to do 3. I have 5 to go around, so I'm going to do 2 ranks in athletics. No, 3. So I go up to a D6 with 3 ranks.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty formidable, to be honest. A lot of the example characters are carrying D4s and things. So
okay,
D2s and D4s. So I think D6 is great for your main skill, if that's the thing you think you're going to be using the most.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. So he'll go up to D6. So that's 3 ranks, and then I have 2 more. So I'm going to put 1 in might. Mm-hmm. So I'll go up to a D4 in might, and let's see. Let's do intimidation. I'll give myself a D2 in intimidation.
Now, let me give you one more option, okay? Intimidation is great, but you're also allowed to use a skill rank, like one of the points you're spending now, to give yourself a specialty, all right? Oh. And you can see there in the doc that we are referencing in character creation that there are example specializations. When you roll something you are specialized in, you roll the skill die at the rank you have it. For example, if you were to take a specialty in athletics for climbing, every time you climb, you roll the D6 and the D20, but then you roll all of the numbers die below it as well. So you'd also roll a D4 and a D2, and you would take the highest of all of those when you roll, if that makes sense. So it means that you're especially good, for example, at climbing. You may not wish to take a specialization at this time, but I'm letting you know you have the option, and it's a cool mechanic.
No, I'm glad that you told me because I wouldn't have known, and I definitely want to. And I think because I have the D6 in athletics, I'm going to take one of the athletic specializations just to have fun. So climbing, because I can float, I feel like I don't need to necessarily specialize in climbing.
Yeah, or jumping maybe. Yeah.
So let's do sprinting. That's fun.
Very good. Yeah, he's fast. He's also fast, folks. Okay, so anytime you roll sprinting, you're going to roll a D20 plus a D6, a D4, and a D2, and you're going to take the highest result out of the D6, D4, and D2.
I like that mechanic. I've never seen that before in any game. And
it's kind of cool, right?
Just you get to increase your dice pool in a way that how often do you get to roll a dice pool that includes all of the dice below what you have?
I know. And how often do you get to roll a D2? Just put a quarter into your little dice rolling box there and flip it.
That's true. I don't have a D2.
I think the easiest is to roll a D4 and then, 1, 2 is 1.
Yeah.
All right. Speed. That's your next essence. And how many points do you have in speed?
I have 4.
4 altogether. Okay. So the speed skills are acrobatics, driving, finesse, infiltration, initiative, and targeting.
Okay. I'm definitely going to take infiltration.
Okay, great.
When you're in a cable install, you got to get into tight places. Sometimes, people are supposed to leave their doors unlocked. They don't. You got certain skills developed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put 2 ranks in infiltration to go up to a D4.
Yep.
And then I will do a skill. I'll do 1 rank in driving.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Let's do 1 in initiative.
That's a good idea. Initiative, of course, only governs combat initiative. But, if you don't have the initiative skill, you're going to roll a D20 with a snag. So you could end up going pretty slow in combat. And you're a soldier.
I'm a soldier.
You're a soldier role. So you should be able to kind of act quickly. So that's
I thought about taking targeting, but then I was like, maybe he's not so good. Maybe he despite participating in the bloody space war, he doesn't actually like guns.
Maybe he was, he was a frontline melee fighter. You have a good might skill, if I'm not mistaken.
I have a D4 in might.
Yeah, so you're a melee combatant.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, smarts. How many essence points do you have in smarts?
Oh, unless I want to ditch this initiative to go for a specialty.
Absolutely, you could. Yeah, I think that I'm going to be advising, at least for this one shot we're going to play, that combat can and perhaps should be avoided. So it's possible combat doesn't even come up. This is there's all kinds of games. This game has a working combat system that looks really fun, but I think in some games, like Call of Cthulhu, for example, there's plenty of reason to avoid combat.
All right, I'm going to instead of the rank in initiative, I'm going to spend that instead in a specialization in lockpicking.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, excellent. Very good. And your infiltration's D4, so when you do any lockpicking, you'll be rolling a D20, a D4, and a D2.
Yeah. It's fun, right?
I think it's fun. Hell yeah.
It's like he taught himself to pick locks.
Yeah, well, maybe he has to do that sometimes to get into the cable boxes and stuff.
Exactly.
All right, smarts. How many essence points do you have in smarts?
I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty smart. So I've got 5.
5. Okay. So you're looking at the skills alertness, culture, science, survival, and technology. I believe you're sitting with a D2 in culture already.
I am. I'm gonna take a rank in technology.
Great.
Because that is my job.
Yes.
I will take. I'm gonna put 2 ranks in alertness because you got to keep your head on a swivel when you're installing cable.
Great.
And then let's see, are there fun specializations in these? Yeah, and I'll put a specialization. So if I have a D2, a specialization doesn't really do much for me. It actually doesn't do anything at all, right?
That's correct. Yep, they must be at least a D4.
So I will I'll put another rank in technology to go to a D4, and then I'll give myself a specialization in engineering.
Great.
Like electrical engineering.
Right, that makes sense. I
4,
love
5.
I love how you're really exploring the specializations, and I think it's gonna be fun when they come up.
I think that's 5, right? 2 in alertness, 2 in technology, and a specialization. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's it. All right, finally, social. Okay, so this is your instinct toward charm and charisma. How many essence points do you have there?
Just 2.
Just 2. Okay, so your skill choices are animal handling, deception, performance, persuasion, and streetwise. Matthew, if you want to be able to rock that theremin.
Yeah, man. Let's do performance.
Both points?
No, let's just do 1.
Okay, so he's not that great with it.
I don't know that I'm an expert theremin player. Yeah.
That makes sense.
You know what? And I will put I'll put animal handling because I think he's got a pet.
Okay, great.
I don't know
really
what the
great.
pet is yet.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent. So we've done the bulk of it. We're now into some details. All right. So you need to record your movement speed, which for most characters is 30 feet. Your health, which is, characters start at 2 health, but your character is going to be at 3 because of your conditioning.
Great.
And your defenses, all right? These are when people roll to hit you with weapons or even magical powers, psychic powers. These are what defend you. They're called toughness, evasion, willpower, and cleverness. And get this, they're very easy to calculate. They are 10 plus an essence score. Toughness is 10 plus your strength score. Evasion is 10 plus your speed score. Willpower 10 plus your smart score, and cleverness 10 plus your social score.
Cool. Oh, so that's like, this is fun. This is like reminds me of the Marvel multiverse role-playing game where you have a defense. You kind of have a defense score for each attribute, or in this case, an essence.
Yeah, you have like 4 different types of AC armor class. Yeah. Okay. And finally, equipment. So we already gave you a theremin. I'm just giving that to you for freezies.
I appreciate that.
And in fact, anything that is, reasonable that a person could own on a cable installer / Blood War veteran salary, I'll allow you to have. But let's look and see. Maybe you want a weapon. Melee weapons include a baseball bat, a dagger, a fire axe, a garrote, a hammer, a pitchfork, a recording microphone, a spear. Any of those calling out to you?
The hammer is calling out to me.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I have this, because of this equipment duty perk, I have access to wealth 15 weapons without needing a skill test, but I noticed that a hammer is wealth 16.
Oh, what? A hammer is wealth 16?
In this, a hammer is more expensive than a recording microphone.
That is interesting. I think it's because the hammer is damages more. I think it does more damage. You know what? Just for funsies, so we're using the system. Maybe we try to stick to your automatic, your ability to get things automatically.
Got it. Then maybe let's do a fire axe.
A fire axe, excellent. Only wealth 5 necessary. It's gonna do. You have a D4 and you have the might skill, so you can use it. And it does 1 sharp damage, but if you wield it with 2 hands, it does 2 sharp damage. And you can use it against multiple targets. But you take a down arrow 1 with your skill. and you do 1 sharp damage to each.
Great.
And then, now that you have like kind of a weapon to use, why don't you just tell me if there's anything else you want? There are kits, there's other gear, clothing, things like that. You're free to look through that stuff, but we can also just kind of say, whatever. Like it looks like there's like armor types. For example, a leather jacket gives you +1 toughness.
You know what? I'm gonna take a leather jacket.
Okay, great. Go ahead and give yourself +1 toughness, which I think would bring you up to a 16 toughness, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, do you have any other ideas for equipment or things that he carries around? Maybe,
kind of a basic toolkit, like a screwdriver and just like that kind of stuff, and a few Allen wrenches or that kind of thing.
Let's see. There's a science kit, but you need science plus D6. Ooh, okay.
Do not have that.
No. Tools. Here we go. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say, as the narrator of this episode of Nightvale, that you have a basic toolkit.
Great. I appreciate you.
I gift it to you.
GM.
It might not have any kind of mechanical effect on what you do, which is why I'm happy to give that to you. Okay.
That's fine.
And that, my friend, is almost the very end. All we need now is a name and a description of the man or woman. I don't know. We haven't even decided gender yet.
I think he's a man.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name. Name on the spot. Oh God, I'm gonna panic. But I'll start with description then. So I think he's tall. I think he's 6'3", and was once quite buff during his time in the Marines, but despite his continued conditioning, has let himself go a little bit. So he's got a little bit of a paunch, but he's got long hair, because as soon as he got out of the military, he was like, I'm letting my hair grow. So he's got hair like kind of down to his shoulders, and it's kind of he keeps in a ponytail when he's on the job, but when he's out and about, he probably lets it hang loose.
Right on.
And as for a name, let's go with Jeremy Stackhouse.
Jeremy Stackhouse, I love it. Sometimes the names you come up on the spur of the moment are better than one if you sat at home and thought about it. Jeremy Stackhouse is a beautiful name for this character. And I love the ponytail. I can see him so clearly. So he's done. He's ready. Are you ready to go to Nightvale?
Let's go to Nightvale.
I can already tell you, based on the adventure I have planned, Jeremy will be a welcome and crucial addition to the team.
Great.
Matthew, thank you so much for helping us with this character creation session. Just want to remind everybody that we are talking about the Welcome to Nightvale role-playing game. You can find it. It's coming out from Renegade Game Studios. And on September 17th, the backer kit launches for this game. So just go to the URL here in the video description if you'd like to sign up and be notified about the backer kit and get involved and get your hands on a copy of this game. Matthew, thanks again. We'll see the rest of you in Nightvale very soon. Arrivederci.
Bye.